An urgent financial alert has just been issued from the nation's capital, and the details will directly impact your wallet. A massive new piece of legislation, dubbed the American Resilience Act, has cleared its final hurdle and could trigger a single payment of $3,200 being sent to millions of citizens on SSI and SSDI. This isn't speculation. I need you to listen closely because what you're about to hear originates from confirmed negotiations in Washington, where leaders from across the political aisle have united behind a substantial economic relief measure connected to what's being called the National Recovery Framework. For anyone depending on Social Security, this may represent the most significant financial development you've witnessed in a very long time. Insider reports show this plan advanced with startling speed. Mere weeks ago, it was in preliminary discussions. Now it has successfully moved through the House and Senate, positioned for rapid enactment. The core mission is to deliver targeted aid to older Americans, individuals with disabilities, and all those on limited incomes who have borne the brutal weight of soaring prices and economic pressure. So what does this Resilience Act actually contain? Why was it given that name? And the critical question, when might funds arrive? Here's the stunning reality. This is far more than symbolic politics. Analysts are labeling it an economic reinforcement package designed to reignite public trust, and it features a single disbursement reaching $3,200 per eligible person. You heard correctly, $3,200. Preliminary information indicates Supplemental Security Income and Social Security disability insurance recipients might be in the initial group to get these funds. Picture this. You look at your bank statement a few weeks from now and discover an extra $3,200. No lengthy paperwork, no complex application process, just an immediate infusion of support distributed automatically via the SSA and the Treasury Department. Now hold on before you celebrate. A ton of false information is circulating. That's why in this report, I'm clarifying the precise situation, the eligibility rules, and the realistic timeline for this money to appear. So please keep watching because in the following minutes, you'll understand what the Resilience Act truly signifies for your finances, your benefits, and your stability. Don't click away. What I explain next could genuinely astonish you. Here is the actual story behind the news banners. This new act is a component of a broader initiative named the National Economic Restoration Project, a campaign that started picking up steam when policy architects began formulating a response to inflation and a plan to re-engage with working families, retirees, and former service members. Following intense discussions, the framework gained unexpected momentum in Congress, and defying expectations, it was approved with strong bipartisan backing. Here's the crucial detail. This is not a minor token gesture. This law was engineered to deliver tangible cash into American pockets swiftly. Treasury officials indicate the $3,200 sum wasn't plucked from thin air. It's patterned after the emergency stimulus disbursements that provided a crucial buffer for households during the global health crisis. So why enact this currently? The answer is straightforward. Economic footing remains uncertain. Consumer prices remain elevated, food costs are increasing, and countless people with fixed budgets are straining to stay afloat. Even with some official metrics showing modest improvement, the daily reality for families hasn't changed. Utility expenses, housing payments, and medication costs keep climbing. Washington is aware, the public is aware, and this statute is the acknowledged countermove. Multiple legislators allegedly demanded this be fast-tracked before the year concludes, particularly with the seasonal holidays approaching. They contended that individuals in the SSI, SSDI, and similar federal support programs warrant urgent assistance, not further delays and bureaucratic obstacles. Sources close to the planning describe this as a resurgence for overlooked citizens. It's a tactical element of a wider strategy to reconstruct the economic foundation for middle and lower income populations, concentrating on the elderly, people with disabilities, and veterans. Groups who have shouldered the stress of escalating expenses for an extended period. And here's a pivotal fact. The backing wasn't exclusively one-sided. Centrist Democratic figures collaborated with Republican colleagues to advance it, stating that economic aid must transcend party allegiance. That's uncommon. and it's a primary factor in the proposal's rapid progression. So, what are the specific provisions? Documents show the Resilience Act dedicates roughly $280 billion for direct disbursements, another sizable sum to bolster Social Security infrastructure, and extra resources to accelerate processing delays at both the SSA and Veterans Affairs. In essence, it's not merely a one-time transaction. It's a message that federal authorities are at last recognizing what countless Americans have expressed for quarters. Living costs have become unmanageable, and decisive steps are overdue. The Treasury had affirmed in a recent statement that disbursements will be handled and prioritized for individuals already within the federal benefits network. Interpretation. If you are a current recipient of SSI, SSDI, or VA benefits, your data is pre-existing, meaning you'll be in the first wave once distribution commences. But here's the vital condition. The legislation must still navigate a brief procedural window before funds can start moving. The Treasury and Social Security must synchronize payment platforms, confirm active recipient accounts, and finalize qualification criteria. That's why representatives suggest the initial wave could launch within several weeks, not several months. There's another reason this is timely. Many economists think this action could steady public economic sentiment heading into next year. Additional resources in circulation means greater purchasing ability, which stimulates broader economic activity. It's an immediate jolt with extended strategic implications. Let's state it plainly. This isn't charity. It's a deliberate attempt to reinvigorate the economy starting with its foundation. For millions navigating each month financially, this $3,200 could represent a pivotal moment. Now we arrive at the query everyone is posing. Who specifically meets the requirements, and how will this process actually function? Because the distribution sequence won't be identical for all, there is a defined priority, and comprehending that order is absolutely essential. Let's analyze it next. Who receives the $3,200 and how the mechanism works? Let's dive into the practical details. Who obtains the $3,200? How is it delivered? And when might it truly post to your account? Based on released guidelines, the first tranche of payments will route automatically to people currently obtaining SSI and SSDI. That means if you get monthly deposits from Social Security right now, you're already in the framework, and you won't need to submit a request or complete any documents. The Treasury will utilize the exact direct deposit details they have on record. That is the fundamental point. If your information is current, your funds will arrive on their own. Authorities suggest the priority sequence will resemble this. First, SSI and SSDI beneficiaries. Second, those receiving VA compensation and pensions. Third, lower-income retirees and specific tax filers with an annual income under $75,000. Pay close attention. The rationale SSI and SSDI lead the queue is because their data is directly maintained by Social Security. This permits faster, electronic, and secure transmission. If you're curious about timing, here's the current intelligence. The Treasury and SSA are projected to begin processing as soon as the coordination phase concludes. Some insiders point to the latter part of November or the start of December as the target for the initial deposits to materialize. Yes, that implies it might occur before the year-end holidays. Funds are anticipated to release in stages, probably aligning with your standard benefit schedule. For instance, if your SSI arrives on the monthly 1st, that's likely when your extra payment could also post. SSDI recipients may see it correlate with their birth date, similar to their normal deposit pattern. But a word of caution, not every person will receive their money simultaneously. There will be validation steps, especially for anyone who recently updated bank details or has a pending address change. That's why officials are advising everyone to review their SSA profile and ensure all particulars are accurate. If your account information is correct and active, you won't need to do a thing. The $3,200 will be added automatically, identical to your standard payment. However, if you still get physical checks, the process might take additional time. Now, who precisely qualifies? Per the draft framework, here's the general outline. All SSI recipients, irrespective of age or marital situation. Social Security disability insurance beneficiaries with an active status as of this past September. Veterans obtaining VA disability or pension payments. Lower income retirees whose earnings fall under the federal limit. Certain tax filers who had an adjusted gross income below $75,000 last year and are not listed as a dependent. If you are receiving both SSI and SSDI, you won't get two payments. The amount will be combined into one $3,200 deposit. And to confirm, this disbursement is not considered taxable income. It's categorized as an economic relief payment, meaning it should not influence your standard benefit amounts, Medicaid status, or SNAP eligibility. That's a key difference. So what's the real-world effect for you? If you're battling to pay utilities, this could help you get current. If you've delayed healthcare needs, this may offer some flexibility. And if you've been anxious about seasonal expenses or winter fuel bills, this support could arrive at a perfect moment. Now, one critical warning you must heed. Fraud attempts are already emerging. Scammers pretending to be from Social Security, calling or emailing about expedited access or required fees. Let me be unambiguous, that is fraudulent. No government body will ever request payment or sensitive personal data to release your funds. If you receive such a contact, terminate the call. Visit the genuine SSA website or phone the official Social Security number. Shield your personal details. You might be asking, what are the necessary next steps? How can you guarantee your payment isn't postponed, misdirected, or held up in the system? That's our next focus, because the actions you take now could determine whether you get your money promptly or face a lengthy wait. Let's review precisely what you should do immediately to prepare. Your essential action plan. Here is your immediate checklist to ensure you don't miss 1 cent of the $3,200 resilience payment. Step 1. Access your official Social Security account online. Verify your payment method, your direct deposit data, and your current mailing address. If anything is outdated, your bank changed, you relocated, your account digits are different, update it right away. This is the top cause for payment holdups or returns. Step 2. Monitor only legitimate updates from the actual SSA and Treasury portals. Disregard social media rumors, fraudulent videos, or unsolicited texts promising early registration or special access. Authentic information will only originate from government-operated sites and verified official announcements. Step 3. Note the potential timeline. If proceedings follow the projected schedule, the first payments could start reaching SSI and SSDI accounts as soon as the final November week, with distribution persisting through mid-December. That means some individuals could see it precisely before the holiday period, a desperately needed assist for anyone surviving on a constrained budget. And step 4, inform your loved ones and acquaintances who rely on these benefits. Many won't learn about this until it's too late. They might dismiss official correspondence or think it's a hoax. Share your knowledge. Assist them in staying updated so no one is inadvertently excluded. Now, listen carefully. If you're concerned about your eligibility, here's reassuring news. If you're already an SSI or SSDI recipient, you are automatically in the system. No application is necessary. You don't need to phone anyone. And you don't need to endorse any paperwork. Just confirm your details are accurate. And remember, these payments are automatic, not subject to tax, and distinct from your recurring benefits. You'll still collect your regular Social Security or disability payment as scheduled, plus the resilience payment when it's issued. Here's what is truly important. Remain patient but vigilant. Major announcements like this invariably spawn confusion, false reports, and criminal schemes. That's why you must adhere to credible sources, the Social Security Administration, the U.S. Treasury, and established news organizations. If you're ever doubtful, contact the legitimate SSA helpline directly. That is the sole number you should use. Now consider the significance. For so many individuals who have been fighting simply to make it through each month, people deciding between food and medicine, heating and rent, this payment could be a critical rescue line. It's more than digits on a deposit. It's a margin of safety. It's optimism. It's the federal system finally stating, we recognize your struggle and we are providing support. So keep watch, stay knowledgeable, and monitor your accounts closely in the coming weeks. The instant those payments initiate, you'll want to be prepared. And remember, I will be following every new development as it happens. The moment formal payment dates are announced, I'll deliver them directly to you. So if you haven't yet, please make sure you subscribe to my channel right now and activate that notification bell so you never miss a critical update, because this situation is still evolving. And the next official notice could be the one that deposits $3,200 into your bank account. Stay resilient, stay informed, and maintain your hope.